Hi, this is Sean with Core SWX, and on today's Core Minute, we'll be answering a question we receive all the time. What is the difference between maximum load amperage and battery amperage? Battery amperage is one of those elements in production which can get very confusing, so today I'm going to be illustrating the difference between maximum load amperage and battery amperage. So first, load amperage refers to how much power a device consumes in a 1 hour period. Load amperage of your rig is essential in determining the proper battery pack for your application. So if a device draws 4 amps, that means it requires 4 amps of available battery power to operate for 1 hour. Now, many times this is mentioned in terms of watt hours as the unit of measure. If you have your amp draw, you can easily calculate watt hours by multiplying the amp draw by the operational voltage of the equipment. So for instance, this Blackmagic Design Ursa Mini Pro draws 4 amps and it operates at a 12 volt standard. So therefore it draws 48 watt hours. Keep in mind that some devices like follow focus gear motors require a startup current, which will exceed the normalized device draw. So it's best to find out the maximum load amperage when deciding the proper pack. Which leads to battery amperage on a pack. So there are 2 different specs on a battery pack such as ours. You have the amperage capacity represented in amps or milliamps, and the load handling capability, where you may see a spec stating max load and the number of amps. First, the amperage capacity of the pack is how much power the battery pack can store. For instance, a 98 watt hour pack has 6.6 amp hours of stored capacity at 100% charged. This spec helps you determine how long a pack will operate your device or rig. If your rig draws 6 amps, then a 6.6 amp hour pack will power it for just over an hour. But let's say your rig has a startup current or load amperage requirement of 9 amps with some really beefy lens motors. Which pack do you choose? On our site, each pack is rated for a maximum load handling. A Nano 98, for instance, has a maximum load output of 8 amps, so it wouldn't be sufficient for this rig. Yet a Hypercore or a Helix pack in a 98 watt hour capacity has a maximum load handling rating of 12 amps. Plenty of deliverable power available for the rig. Keep in mind that theoretically, if you could get the Nano 98 over the startup power hurdle, it should be able to operate similarly in runtime as the Hypercore or the Helix pack, since they have the same stored capacity spec. But it would be advisable to go with the overspec'd product for better operational service life. It's the difference between going 100 miles an hour with a small 4-cylinder car versus a sports car. Obviously, the sports car, or the Hypercore, will perform better. That's all for today's Core Minute. I'm Sean McNally with Core SWX. See you next time.